My name is Ed Dolan. I'm the Commissioner of the Massachusetts Probation Service, and I'm thrilled to be here and have this opportunity to, speak to you. I want to talk a little bit about the probation service and the efforts that we've made in the last year since the last public get together with the Roxbury community. Since that time, the Harvard study has been released. I know you'll be hearing from Chief Justice Budd and Chief Justice Carey. They'll talk more about the follow-on efforts to build on the lessons and the challenges and the questions that data has raised. So just want to speak more specifically to what the Massachusetts Probation Service has done. So specifically, we've committed in parallel to improve our data collection through the development of our case management system and transparency through the release of that data. It allow us to do what the Harvard study did: capture decisions, identify, track, and respond to disparate practices that we may have that are specific to our work. And so we see that as sort of a starting point, as a really important tool in all of this work. I think it removes the debate about whether our practices are disparate or not, and allows us to focus with clarity on where we have disparate practices, and allows us to focus our energy on fixing that. And we make that commitment. Recently there was the Affinity Bar report was released, and that was feedback and painful, I think, but necessary for change to get that kind of feedback with the people that we work with, and the people that in probation, our probationers, and our families and our communities. And so, we're committed to doing a very similar kind of feedback effort. That was instructive to us, that we don't know exactly how we're perceived out there. And that perception is important, because I think until we change reality, we won't change perception. If we don't change the perception, then we don't represent equal justice for all, then we don't. So trust and faith and confidence in the institution, certainly the trial court and the judiciary, but also the probation service, is paramount. We only function, and we only can do our job and achieve our mission if we have that trust and faith and confidence in the work we do. And we have to prove that every day in all of our decisions and all of our actions. So, we've for a long time been committed to racially, ethnically, gender balanced staff. We've taken efforts, very concrete efforts, around our interview panels and how we construct our interview panels. And that, things as simple as that, documenting, hiring, our promotion protocols, making those public, they have produced change. And there's significant increase in the diversity at all levels of our staff. And we think that is a tool that will help change how we are and how we show up to do our work in the community. We, along with the trial court, have engaged in active community recruitment to expand the diversity in our ranks. And another big effort for us, really after the events of the last year, we have committed to having difficult conversations. We can train and we can educate our staff, but we know we need to engage with each other and with our clients to get greater understanding of how they perceive the world, how they perceive us. And it's just been an instructive effort. So with trial court support, with the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, we've engaged in what we've called a series of difficult conversations about race and racism, and about our work and how we actively promote diversity, equity, and inclusion. And the other thing too is we've embraced inclusion as a verb. Inclusion doesn't happen, you include people. And so again, we've worked with John Lang and set up peer-to-peer supports for our managers to hold the conversation, so that we really increase a high level of active participation and commitment to this work of inclusion in the work we do as a probation service. So again, I mentioned, we've committed to the data and the transparency in the data to allow us to capture, our decisions and identify and track and respond, if we have disparate practices, and fix those. We plan in the interim to begin to sample and analyze our MPS decision points until we can get that, a more elaborate information system online. We've adopted sort of along the lines of what I mentioned about inclusion. We've adopted a way of thinking about this work from the Hayward Burns Institute, and it's really consistent with uh, Chief Justice Gantz and his view of wanting to repair the world. And it's built on the notion that our work as a probation service should be repair, that we should improve the communities we serve. It isn't enough to reduce harm, to reduce recidivism, reduce rearrests. Our work, to the extent possible, needs to restore communities. That's consistent with the original concept that underlies probation, that was first conceived by John Augustus in the late 1800s, to make those in our care and custody and their families and their communities whole. Our view is that people aren't placed on probation to be punished. Being on probation is punishment. The purpose then for probation is to restore that person and their family and their community and victims to the maximum extent feasible. We can't make the world perfect. We can't restore everything, but we certainly should do no harm, and we should work to improve lives. Our effort and our mission is to change the trajectory of the life of the folks that come into our care and custody, and to change that from a negative path to a positive one. And to the extent that we do that, it improves their life, it improves their family, and the welfare and safety of the community. And so this entire discussion about race and equity and inclusion, the more we understand the people that we serve, the better we can serve them. The more we can, we have the faith and the confidence in the people that we serve, the better traction we can get in executing our mission. And that's vitally important to us. So, you've heard a list of things that we're doing. We're trying to be as concrete as possible and really take action. And be very direct and deliberate in taking on and fixing the work that we do. So, the data transparency, that makes this discussion not a debate about bias and exclusion and lack of diversity. It actually makes it very concrete and measurable and keeps it front and center in front of us. It's quantitative. And so, it really directs how we shift the way we work and the concrete steps we take to change those quantitative measures and to make sure that we're, fair and equitable and inclusive and effective in, repairing the world in which we work in. So thank you.